I'm a woman.
Egg is a vrouw.
I'm a woman.
Dilipina dingumfazi.
I am a woman.
I am so proud to be a woman.
Welcome to another exciting episode of Wellness for Her right here on Cape Town TV. And I am your host, Mpho Raupal. And of course, I'm not traveling alone. I'm accompanied by a signing interpreter, Tshepiso Mugwena. Wellness for Her is a show that explores issues around women's health and wellness. Our topic for today is women and sexuality. We'll be looking specifically at sexual health, multiple partners, and intergenerational sex. And in today's studio, we are joined by Dr. Eve. Welcome, Dr. Eve.
Thank you for having me with you.
Please just tell us a bit about the work that you do.
I'm a clinical sexologist and a couple and sex therapist. So I run a private practice and I see couples through the day. And then I'm an educator and I use medium of television and radio to be able to educate. And I have my websites, a lot of social media. I have my website, dreve.co.za. And then I also have a shop, which I sell products, dreveshop.co.za. Believe in being able to sell sex toys and sexual health products for people. And then I'm a sexual rights activist, Mpho, and I belong to a number of international organizations where I stand very firmly behind the right of people to have sexual health, which is why I'm happy to be with you on this show today.
Okay. Dr. Eve, just tell us, what is a healthy sexual relationship?
Where there is no pressure, there is no coercion, where there's no violence, where two people agree consensually as adults that they want to be sexual. And talking about adults, it means legally people over the age of 16 years old, even though we know that young people are sexual, and I approve of that. I think it's absolutely great if there is great sexual education that's provided to them as well. So healthy sexual relationship includes access to information, where couples know where they can get condoms, where they know what safer sex is all about, where they know how to prevent STIs. And they also understand the emotional component of sexuality and relationships, because those things get really tricky and they interfere in safer sex and fun sex, because sex is supposed to be pleasurable.
True.
That's part of healthy sexuality, is that you have the right to pleasure as well.
Okay. And just tell us, if you're in a healthy relationship, is it possible to still exercise your sexuality healthily?
Of course, healthy relationships are going to increase your ability to have a healthy sexual life, because there will be happiness. There will be a sense of relationship between two people which encourages them, especially women, to want to be sexual with this partner. Women struggle to give themselves permission to be sexual and poor, and that because we all grew up in a society where women are repressed sexually. You know, we're taught that being sexual is something bad, that being sexual is something that good girls don't do.
And before marriage?
Absolutely, before marriage. And so what happens to all these young people, teenagers, young adults who want to be sexual? What do they do with it? They don't get information, they don't have access to services, and so they practice unsafe sex, and that's where we get our unintended pregnancies. So if you have the information and you're in something called a relationship, or even if you're not in a relationship, because women don't always want to be in a relationship, they just want to have sex as well, just like what men do. But they need to be armed with information which makes them healthy individuals. So they're on their birth control. They know how to use condoms, either female or male condoms, and they know how to negotiate those condoms. So they have to have really good self-esteem, and that comes from knowledge of their own bodies, knowledge of how to conduct themselves in a relationship. So being in a relationship which is healthy will encourage people, and because we're talking women today, specifically women, to really explore their sexuality and get the most advantage and pleasure out of it. And that will enhance their intimacy and make them feel fabulous.
Yeah. Just tell the parents out there who are watching how important is their role on educating their kids. Because we know that, just tell the parents out there how important is it their role to educate their kids about sex.
You know, that's such a vital point, because parents are terrified of giving information to their children. And they feel if they give information, that means they're giving permission to their children to be sexual. So they send these children out into the world without protecting them with information. And so the children don't know how to make good decisions once they're in a sexual situation. And by giving them sex education, it's not giving them information, because they pick up from the media.
Yeah.
It's giving them an ability to think critically about what's wrong and about what's right. What are the value system that they as a parent want to be embracing? Do they think that sex should happen before marriage or only after marriage, or that there should be a relationship, or what is safety for them? Those are things that kids think about when they're faced with sexuality. So that's what parents need to do, and that requires them talking.
Yeah.
And if they don't, those children are absolutely unprotected and unsafe in any kind of relationship that they get into. They don't know what to do.
Yeah.
So they think about what they've seen on TV. They think about their friends are telling them that they're doing, and they go with that. And that doesn't always mean that it's what they want.
Yeah, true.
Especially young girls. Young girls, research will show us that young girls feel regretful after having their first intercourse because they didn't feel that they knew what they were doing
And
or
ready.
they were ready. Exactly. So we really want to give information to young girls and, of course, to young guys as well. But we're talking women today.
Okay, let's just move on to more personal things, Dr. Eve. How important is masturbation? Is it part of a healthy sex thing?
Well, consider the young people start to masturbate from a very early age.
Is it a good thing?
Of course it's a good thing. It's exploring, it's finding your body. And I think that it's very important that people need to know, especially young people, that this is normal, that that's their first activity that they do, and it's probably going to be the most common activity that they do their entire lives. People will continue to masturbate even if they're in healthy, good, loving relationships.
Yeah, because it's even important to know your body, what makes you
Exactly.
happy before you expect the other person to.
100%. And what we know as well from research is that if women masturbate, they have a better chance of becoming orgasmic alone and with a partner. And we know that women really struggle to be orgasmic with a partner. It's kind of difficult to have that conversation. So if she's confident in her own body, she will get confident through masturbation. So masturbation is a very healthy activity. It becomes problematic if that's the only thing you're doing and you're sitting at home, you're not going to work, or you're not doing your homework, and that you're just compulsively masturbating. But that's very few and far between. Majority of people masturbate and it's controlled by them, and they're still able to have very healthy partner relationships as well.
But what do you think, though, the people feel the need to masturbate? Is it because of your partner is not delivering? Or?
Well, that would happen as I'm going to masturbate because my partner is not available, or I'm not sexually satisfied with my partner. But masturbation is kind of like eating. It's just a very natural response. You kind of have an itch, you need to scratch it, and you scratch it, and there you are. You begin masturbating from an early age, and you carry it on your entire life. It's really interesting what's happening, though. I see a real shift in that women specifically are saying, my partner's not sexually satisfying me, or I'm not getting enough sex at home, and so what I want to do is not I'm going to masturbate. Kind of women have gone through that, which is delightful, and they're accepting that masturbation is a normal course for them to follow. But now they're adding on, and they're saying, I think I'll have an affair, which is part of the conversation we're going to have as well.
Yeah. We're going to go to a break now, but we'll continue. Please join us after the break when we ask Dr. Eve, why is it people feel the need to use sex toys? Don't go away. Right after the break.
Okay, bisela umoya ngaphakathi. Phefumulela ngaphandle. Ngaphakathi. Iyo leyo, phefumulela ngaphandle.
Okay, ndicela sendilungele ukuba ndingayoxilonga ke ngoku. Kwimiba yempilo yamabhinqa, ziva ukhululekile kuba sinawe. Iikliniki zethu zibonelela ngeenkonzo zempilo mahala ezihambelana ngqo neemfuno zakho, ezifana nokuhlolwa kwamabele nokunika inkxaso kwaba bakhulelweyo kwaseqaleni. Ikhona ikliniki ekufuphi kuwe, sindwendwele, ukuze kuhlolwe impilo yakho namhlanje. Urhulumente weNtshona Koloni. Kungcono.
Xa sisonke.
Steeland was born in Toscana in Italy in 1898, which inherited the essence of the Renaissance. Italy is a paradise of art and one of the cradles of various European cultures. Steeland has made itself a legend.
Getting into debt is easy. It's in our nature want to spend more than we should. When we look at it, there's personal loans, credit cards, home loans, accounts, and vehicle finance. Getting out of debt is the hardest part. Consumer Financial Services will lower your monthly installments on those loans and accounts. We stop creditors from harassing you, and we also protect you from blacklisting and repossession. Sounds too good to be true? It's as simple as SMS HELP to 31218 or a consultant to call you within the next 24 hours. Or visit us on www.cfsdebt.co.za. Consumer Financial Services, the key to your financial relief.
Stark Ace, the oldest garden center in the Western Cape. For 135 years, we have provided professional advice and horticultural products to discerning gardeners in Cape Town. We now have 2 well-positioned nurseries in Liesbeek Parkway, Rosebank, and at West Coast Shopping Centre in Sunningdale. We offer professional landscaping services and have popular restaurants on each site. Our friendly, knowledgeable staff are waiting for your visit to assist you with all your gardening needs.
Welcome back to Wellness for Her, and I'm your host, Mpho Raupala, in case you've just joined us. And our topic for today is women and sexuality. And in our studio today, we are joined by other than Dr. Eve. Dr. Eve, before the break, you were talking about women cheating. Can we just pick it up from there?
Yeah, so I started doing some research into cyber infidelity, looking at what people are doing online. And I'm utilizing the database of ashleymadison.com, which is the world's largest online dating site for married people. And I just brought out, in fact, today being Monday, the first survey comes out on female cyber infidelity. I was curious to see what women are doing online. And I was really astounded by what women are doing. Women are very busy online cheating. They are texting, WhatsApping, following people on Twitter and Facebooking, and getting into online relationships which are secretive from their partners. So I found that about the most astounding result for me was 76% of women are there online cheating on this dating site on Ashley Madison, but they go offline and actually have real life sex with people. Because online cyber infidelity means that you are chatting and flirting and sexting, which seems to be kind of normal because so many people are doing it. But women are going offline. It's a large number of women, 76% of women who are going offline and actually meeting up. And the reason they're saying they're going there is because they just want to have exciting sex. They're happily married. They like their partners. They're very happy in their marriages. They don't want to leave. They don't want to get divorced. They don't even feel guilty about this, but they want something extra. They want exciting sex, which is, new for us.
Yeah, but is it? Would you consider it as healthy or even cheating?
Well,
cyber sex.
It depends on what the couple decides is cheating, and that's what my research is looking at. What do you think is cheating? What does your partner think is cheating? Because maybe your partner will think if you're just flirting online with somebody, it's not cheating. But if you go offline, then they'll think, it is cheating. So I'm looking at what people consider as individuals, what do you think is cheating? And certainly the boundaries are blurred. In the old days, women would say, even if you flirted with somebody, it's cheating. Now it's like, well, no, if you're flirting online and if you're cyber sexing and sharing fantasies, that's not flirting. And what they're saying is, it's not that I'm having sex or anything. It's not being seen as sex. So it's kind of changing the way that we look at relationships, which is very exciting.
But for people out there who are watching and they don't know what is cyber sex, can you just explain to them what is cyber sex?
So anyone who has a mobile or has a computer, has access to an internet line, will be finding somebody else to chat with. And the chat turns to flirting. And the flirting becomes kind of sexual. And then it becomes, well, let's share fantasies. And then it goes, well, let me call you. And then it's phone chatting. And then it's, well, let's meet at the local hotel and let's get together. And then it becomes offline. So cyber infidelity is when you are online and you're married and you're keeping it a secret from your partner, but you're getting online and you really are engaging with a number of people, just one person.
So Dr. Eve, just tell us, are there any other ways of cheating without having penetrative sex?
Oh, yeah. And this is what is so interesting about the cyber infidelity. Is it really cheating if you are online and you find somebody that you find the same interests with each other and you're just sharing fantasies or you're sharing your thoughts or you're having this incredible romance? It's really interesting because, listeners should go or viewers should go to my website that I created called mycybersecret.com. And you'll read people's secrets, what they're doing. I mean, it's kind of fascinating that people are married and living in so-called happy relationships or even unhappy relationships. And they have found an outlet through chatting to other strangers and forming relationships, either emotional or sexual relationships with them, which allows them to stay in their relationship. Or sometimes they leave their relationship. But it's certainly a new wave of revolution in relationships today.
But with cyber sex, will it fall under a person that you would say they've got multiple partners?
It would be that, because they have got, I mean, that's an interesting question, because we consider multiple partners in terms of unsafe sex, right?
True.
Like I'm having sex with more than one person. But then they'd say to you, well, my research is showing, well, I'm not having sex with this person, so I don't see what's so bad about it. I'm just chatting, or we're just exchanging photographs of each other. I'm sending pictures of my breasts. He's sending pictures of his genitals. So that's not really cheating, and that's safe. So I don't think it's bad.
But how can it be stopped, though, cyber
But
sex?
do we need to stop it? Because what my results show as well, interesting, yeah, I see you discomfited. What my results show is that people are saying, the women that I surveyed, they're saying, actually, I am having better sex with my partner. I feel happier. I'm more excited in my daily life because I've got this kind of secret lover. But I'm not meeting him. I'm not meeting her.
But does your husband know?
No, because that's the secret. You see, that's the secret. The moment the secret is known, of course, it creates disruption if the partner thinks that that's cheating as well. So then it becomes just like a regular cheating horror. It's a horror story. As we know, when anyone finds out about betrayal, they feel really sore. So,
yeah, that's true.
But it's so common. So is this part of our natural relationships today? Is it healthy? I think time is going to tell.
Okay, Dr. Eve, let's move away a little bit from
Yeah.
cyber sex. Let's discuss sex toys. Because I know people are watching out there waiting to hear about sex toys.
Yeah.
Just tell us, why do you think people have the need to use sex toys? And is it healthy? Is it a normal thing?
Right. So sex toys have become very trendy. So I don't actually use the word normal, but it's common because it's become trendy. About 70% of South African women are using sex toys. So that's, it's a large number of women are doing it. And I think it's because the media have portrayed them in a very sexy way. They're all over in every magazine that you open. It's very open today, which I love. I think it's fantastic. Because I'm a sexual rights activist, I believe that women have a right to have toys. I use them clinically for women who have difficulty, and I think we're going to talk about menopause and older women.
Yeah.
But even for women, younger women, who really are alone, are single, and don't want to put themselves at risk by having random sexual experiences. And even if you're in a relationship and you're not feeling satisfied, you don't want to leave that relationship. Bringing sex toys in are going to teach you about your sexuality, first of all, and also going to guarantee you as a woman that you're going to have orgasms. And like, what's wrong with that? So it isn't threatening the partnership. It's not saying, I don't want you. It's encouraging the partner to participate with you, using the sex toy on you. And of course, many times, you want to use it on your own to understand your sexuality. So I think it only has benefits for women and for their partnerships, because it's going to make them feel more satisfied. And if you're more satisfied, you're healthier, and your quality of your relationship improves. So use sex toys and sexual health products.
But how do emotions come in when it comes to sex?
Emotions around sex toys? I think
just
it's
sex,
sexuality.
sexuality.
That is just like
different.
That is just like a minefield. How do we actually emotionally manage with sexual experiences? That's very difficult to do, and that's why people struggle in relationships. And that's what really my work is about. It's working with the relationships between couples. The sex isn't really difficult. The sex people know how to kind of have sex, unless you've got sexual dysfunction, which is the work that I do as well. But it's really about the relationship, and especially for women. If the relationship isn't satisfying, if the relationship is feeling untrustworthy, if the person isn't steadfast or reliable, women's sexual design, women's sexuality is deeply impacted in a negative way by that. And that's where the unhealthiness comes into it, or the loss of sexual functioning
and the
comes
cheating
in.
and all that stuff.
Yeah, and women suffer enormously, as men do, with sexual dysfunction. When their relationships or the emotional aspect of the relationship is difficult, then men will have erectile dysfunction or early ejaculation or even lose desire. And women absolutely will lose desire to be sexual, not have orgasms, don't become lubricated. And then it's treating sexual dysfunctions when the emotional component of the relationship is under distress.
Thank you so much, Dr. Eve, for taking your time to joining us
such
in
a
the
pleasure.
studio on Wellness for Her. To learn more about your own sexuality, please do contact the following organizations on your screen. Star Fashion Accessories has sponsored all my accessories for the program. You, our loyal viewers, could win similar accessories in the Moonstar Fashion Accessories hamper, valued at 100 Rand. All you need to do to stand a chance to win is like our Facebook page and tell us who is sponsoring the accessories hamper. Please include your name and contact number along with your answer. After the break, please join me at the Doctor's Corner with Dr. Lizo Bangu.
Just breathe in, out, in. That's it, and out.
Okay, I think I'm ready to go for my checkup.
When it comes to women's health, you can feel safe knowing that we're here for you. The Western Cape Government's clinics provide free healthcare services specific to your needs as a woman, such as breast exams and pregnancy support, right from the start. There's a clinic near you. Please visit us for your health check. Western Cape Government.
Better
together.
Steeland was born in Toscana in Italy in 1898, which inherited the essence of the Renaissance. Italy is a paradise of art and one of the cradles of various European cultures. Steeland has made itself a legend.
Getting into debt is easy. It's in our nature want to spend more than we should. When we look at it, there's personal loans, credit cards, home loans, accounts, and vehicle finance. Getting out of debt is the hardest part. Consumer Financial Services will lower your monthly installments on those loans and accounts. We stop creditors from harassing you, and we also protect you from blacklisting and repossession. Sounds too good to be true? It's as simple as SMS up to 31218 or a consultant to call you within the next 24 hours. Or visit us on www.cfsdebt.co.za. Consumer Financial Services, the key to your financial relief.
Stark Ace, the oldest garden center in the Western Cape. For 135 years, we have provided professional advice and horticultural products to discerning gardeners in Cape Town. We now have two well-positioned nurseries in Lisbeck Parkway, Rosebank, and at West Coast Shopping Centre in Sunningdale. We offer professional landscaping services and have popular restaurants on each site. Our friendly, knowledgeable staff are waiting for your visit to assist you with all your gardening needs.
Welcome back to Wellness for Her, and thank you so much for joining us right here on the Doctor's Corner with Dr. Lizo Bangu. Dr. Lizo.
Hi, Impo.
How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
Good, good.
Great.
Dr. Lizo, just tell us, is it necessary to take safe sex precautions when you're having sex with someone that you know or your only partner that you have?
Well, I would say it depends which country you're in. And in our country, because of the high prevalence of HIV, one has to really reconsider that decision. So it's not as simple answer as it would be in any other setting. And the two main important things, is whether one is married or not. Because when you're married, it might be easier for you to stick to one partner, and you don't have to necessarily take a safe sex precaution because you have to get pregnant and have babies, unless you don't want any kids. So in that setting, it might be different. However, though married, we know that married women in Southern Africa are at a higher risk for HIV. So if for any other reason you suspect that your partner is not trustworthy, he is not reliable and faithful, then it becomes an opportunity for you to raise the conversation and open it at home that I think we need to start using a condom because I'm not sure of your behavior. Easy said than done. However, if you're not married, you don't have a choice. You should actually stick to using condoms regularly because we know of the risk of HIV infection, especially people, young ladies in their 20s and 30s and young men from 30 onwards.
But then if I'm married, should I be with somebody that I don't trust who's unfaithful?
Well, you could have married and the person was faithful. And then as time went, the person,
That's always the case, though.
Exactly. So, and you find some other women still want to stay with that person. And in our country, we know one of the major reasons why people stay because of the socio-economic conditions is because the man is the breadwinner. So sometimes it becomes difficult for the woman to leave because the guy is a source of income. So it becomes a matter of how does this person negotiate safe sex with the gentleman. And I always say, where you are battling, just drag the guy and invite him to a clinic. And then sit, or to a doctor, or sit with someone who is neutral, who can help the two of you negotiate safe sex in your relationship.
So Dr. Lizo, tell us, what is intergenerational sex? I'm sure everybody's watching is dying to know, what is intergenerational sex?
Well, one of the challenges and the determinants of the spread of HIV in our country is sex between different generations. Now, by definition, intergenerational sex refers to a partner, especially in the case of men, who is older than you by 5 years.
Are you talking about a sugar daddy?
Well, it's not even a sugar daddy yet. Yeah, so you're talking about, because when you talk about sugar daddies, and then you're talking about transactional sex, where you are in a sexual relationship because you are being given money, or you are being given, they buy you stuff, makeup, cell phones, and all of those. Then that becomes transactional sex. Now, intergenerational, there might not necessarily be money exchange, but the person is about 10 years older, 15 years older. The challenge in those settings is that you, as a younger partner, it's difficult for you to negotiate safe sex, like condom use in the relationship. Because now this man is older than you, you respect him, you're scared of him, so it becomes a challenge. Hence, that is found to be a high risk factor when it comes to HIV infection spread. Because then the other challenge is the older men tend to have more HIV, like in your 30s and onwards, like between 30 and 40, they have more HIV than younger girls. And whereas we know that girls under 20, they have less HIV infection. So if that girl goes up with that guy, the girl is actually going out with someone who's at a higher risk of HIV, which means she's exposing herself to HIV at a younger age. Similarly to younger women in their 20s. You understand? So the value of that intergenerational sex is actually in that. You increase the risk of being infected because of going out with someone who's older than you.
But then what if I'm 40 and I'm going out with someone who's 45? Is it still considered intergenerational sex?
Well, I would assume that with increasing age, you are much more mature. I mean, at 40, I expect you to make better decisions than if you were 17 going out with a 23-year-old. You understand?
Yeah.
Because at 23, the guy is at varsity, at 17, you're in high school. So the decision-making process is really different. So I think I would assume that the older you get, that influence becomes smaller because you know what you want at 40.
Thank you, Dr. Lizo, for joining us right here on the Doctor's Corner.
Sure, it's a pleasure.
And now some tips to help keep you on track for your goal of living a healthier life. For years, Montague Springs has been a favorite holiday destination for Cape Townians. Only 2 hours drive from Cape Town, it offers self-catering accommodation to suit all budgets. Each chalet is air-conditioned and has its own built-in braai, with 5 swimming pools, tennis courts, and an exciting kiddies playground. It's paradise for family wanting a break from the city life. Why not take a road trip on the R62 to Montague Springs? Is guaranteed to bring you and your family closer. Each week, Montague Springs is giving away a 2-night midweek stay per episode. To stand a chance of winning, all you need to do is like our Facebook page and tell us who sponsors the midweek break on Montague Springs. Please do include your name and your contact number along with your answer. Thank you so much for joining us on Wellness for Her. I'm your host, Mpho Raupal. Please don't forget to like our Facebook page, Wellness for Her, and also post your questions for next week's topic, which is infertility. Don't forget that you can call us on 021-448-0448 or even visit the Cape Town TV website, www.capetowntv.org. And I'm your host, Mpho Raupala. Stay healthy.